in your Teams feed so that you can refer back to it. It will be due by next class. Now, you'll see that I made kind of this wavy line going from the top to the bottom of my paper. If you want to go ahead and do that, that's fine. And then with that wavy line, I put about 5, 6, 7 dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on this one. Okay? So the way this one starts out, and I'm just going to use my black marker because like I said, I don't have anything else. You're going to go, so I'm going to start with these 2 dots right here. So you're just going to kind of make, you're going to go from one dot to the next. I'm kind of doing this from the side, so. Okay, and then you're going to go to the next one. Now, what you need to notice is that I'm not going through the other layers or the other bumps. I'm making sure, oops, I just did that. I'm making sure that I'm trying to not overlap too much. It's almost like if you were stacking seashells on top of each other. And then this one. Okay. Now at first it doesn't looks kind of funny, but what happens is we're going to do both sides. So then you do the same, but the same points, but you're going to do them differently on this side. Okay. So that's where you get your kind of the worm feel to it. I have this one up here I haven't done yet. So you're going to end up doing this all the way out. Okay, so it changes a bit. So you can have this one start to come out like this, which would change this one down here. And maybe this one starts coming out like this. You can always go back in and add a layer. Okay, let's go up here. Maybe this one comes really far this way this time. So that changes that one. Okay. So this is kind of this wormhole, and it's gonna, what we're gonna do with this one's a little tricky because we've already overwhelmed it. But what's gonna happen is if you keep going, you keep building it, it's gonna create this whole really cool shape that you can't see from all these other ones. So you're gonna keep going until you reach the edge of the paper. But stay mindful of your dots. You're not gonna create any more. Everything's gonna come from those dots. Okay, these came off a little bit too much, but that's okay. You can always adjust. Now, what I cannot do with my marker is do the shading that's gonna give these dimension. Now I wanna show you something. This is a really good example of dimension. Now you can see how this person used pencil. That was made out of pencil, which you're more than welcome to do. And hers was very specific. So hers, to match ours, would have gone this way. So you can see the first one kind of goes like this, her first line. And then you can see her dot, 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 dot. Okay, so you can do it vertically, horizontally, or vertically. But the next challenge is to get this kind of dimension. So the further back something is, so it's like looking at your hands. In between your hands, the shadows are always much darker because there's less light. And then as you go around the finger, you're going to see a variation of the darkness and the shading and the light. So you're going to do the same kind of thing here. Now, I don't have colored pencils. Oh, wait. I think I might. Hold on. Ah, look at that. Found them. Okay, so what I want to do, I'm going to do kind of a blue thing here. Now she, on the video that I'm going to give you the link to, she's going to show you a different way to choose colors. You can really do it any way you want to. I'm just going to do a blue. So let's start with one of these. So in your, I like to use the darker color in the inside because that's where the darkest shadows are, because there's no light. You can't get light in there. And as you get closer, let's imagine the sun's right here and it's shining right directly on it. These little spots that are in here are going to be the darkest parts. So I can kind of slowly lighten, because I could technically do this shading just with this one color. Now she's going to show you, I can say she, I don't know what her name is, but the girl in the video will show you how to use a couple of colors. Now, one thing that you can do, so here's one way to do it, just do a really light shading, and then you can see where the top part is the lightest part, and then the darkest is over here. Now, if I wanted to do perhaps, let's do this, where my next one is the same blue. So my dark is here. See my darks, dark, dark, dark. Dark, dark, dark. And then I'm going to come over here and get lighter with the blue. See, I like to use the stroke of the pencil to make the curve continue around. You can kind of see how I'm doing that this way. Now I'm going to take a color that's the opposite. So we know our color is complementary, contrasting color. So if I'm using blue, the contrasting color, the opposite color would be orange, because orange does not contain blue. So I'm going to try and find a good orange. Here's a good orange. And what I'm going to do with it is actually in the center part, kind of add a little bit of this contrasting color. So that's another version of how you can shade it. It's a good way to challenge yourself. And then kind of come in here. And bring it all together. Okay, looks a little dirty. That's when they would say they're not complementing each other, kind of contrasting each other, but it gives you a different effect. So one of the challenges that you can do is have, maybe for each worm, you have different colors, you do different effects. You can also do similar to this, where you figure out maybe every fourth one you do, and maybe eventually you just do all